Learn to create the energy in your life. Learn to align your life then with your values so that you feel the fulfillment, that your love tank, that your energy is completely full. And then you can rock and roll, move forward. All right, can you guys believe it? We're in another month. This is crazy. Time, no matter what, just keeps spinning. Whether you're going with it or you're not, you're going backwards, forwards. Time doesn't care. It has no biases. We just keep moving forward, and we've got an incredible lineup. A massive announcement today, but besides that, we've got an incredible lineup of topics. I just did an Instagram Live. A lot of you probably saw it on Instagram. If you're not following me, get your butt over there and follow me on Instagram. But I always prioritize you. The content that you see here is directed at you. I want more money in your bank account. I've trained so many realtors and salespeople over the last 15 years. I know exactly what you need to do. No matter the market you're in, no matter where you're located, I've trained realtors in Singapore, all the way up in Canada and all over the US. And there are similar principles and trends and patterns that the best amplify and implement in their business. And so we're going to talk about that, but I want to make sure it's directed at you and very personable. So if you're new to the channel or you've been here a while, you'll always see that I want to make sure that this is very focused on you. You'll come in, you'll bring your notepad, 20 minutes, take a bunch of notes on a specific topic, and you're out. We're going to talk about how to win friends and influence people. We're going to talk about negotiation skills. We're going to talk about how to make sure you stop negotiating with yourself and a couple other topics. So hang tight. It's going to be an incredible month. So the announcement, let's talk about this. When I first got into consulting, it was because my father had just been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Before that, I was rocking and rolling. I had done sales for 12 years. I got into real estate, got a bunch of coaches, was mentored, worked really hard, sold 75 deals my first year, grew my business year over year after that. And then my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. A lot of you know this. And I lost him 9 months later. And it wrecked me. I went into a pretty intense depression, and the desire to move forward and produce and go get the trophies and the awards just kind of died. My identity passed on with my dad. And I remember as I was reflecting on his life that he loved coaching, and he was a good one. And he loved mentoring the youth and giving back and being available for them. And that old teacher passion of mine just lit up on fire. And I realized I want to help. I want to coach. I want to consult. I didn't know what that looked like. And then Dwayne Richens came into my life. We partnered. I consulted him on how to grow his coaching platform, Real D2D, on how to grow his brokerage platform at EXP. Then we switched to Real. We were traveling all over the United States. We trained the Rookie of the Year. Last year, William in Indiana. We trained Rachel in California, who's on pace to do 25 million as a first-year realtor. We were growing really, really fast. And as I met all of you one-on-one, as we talked in the DMs on Instagram, as I took your phone calls, as I met you in person in your markets, I realized there are other principles that need to be more highlighted and focused. So as of today, and as of this episode, Real D2D and myself have now split. Moving forward, this platform is going to be Davis Sales Training, Peak State Performance. And everything we focus on is going to be what I'm seeing with all of you that will help you grow faster. I wish nothing but well wishes to Dwayne. He is an incredible, one of the best salespeople that you'll ever meet. He's one of the best to ever go door to door. He's going to grow and build incredible things. The packets that I built for him, the courses I helped him build, and everything that you guys have seen us give out, that's going to stay with Dwayne. I've rebuilt everything. There's new packets, there's new courses, there's new programs, and it's all going to be designed around the 5 principles that we're going to talk about today that I have seen really help the top realtors and the best salespeople perform at a faster pace. And those that are just in the middle or maybe just starting don't fully comprehend yet before. So today's episode, I want to talk about these principles and what we're going to do moving forward. You're going to see me cycle through these principles over and over again on this YouTube channel, on the Instagram channel, the website, the courses, the new coaching program that's going to release, as well as the new brokerage team. So where do these principles come from? Well, when I first started consulting and helping Dwayne grow his program, I worked with a realtor named Billy in Alabama. And he had tried multiple programs that weren't working. He wanted to go from part-time to full-time. He was a firefighter in his community, one of the most respectable, good humans you'll ever meet. And with him, a lot of it was certain different teachings that I had learned in the door-to-door space and with other top salespeople. And I started coaching that on him one-on-one on our weekly calls. And I was like, oh, well, that principle is really important. So let me coach that again. Then I coached William one-on-one, who's in Indiana. And he sold 57 deals as a first-year realtor. And a lot of it was marketing and CEO and business efficiency and visualization. And so I was like, okay, there's another principle that is really helping this guy go from 0 all the way to 57. Then I started working one-on-one with Rachel, who's out in California, first-year realtor. She's a mom, part-time, on pace to do 20, 25 million volume this year as a first-year realtor. And there were certain principles that I taught her one-on-one that helped her really go and grow her business. Then there was Jeffrey in Atlanta. He was doing about 10 to 12 deals, sporadic all over the place. And with working with him one-on-one, there were other principles that I started to realize, other patterns I started to realize that were helping him grow his business. And then there was Sahil up in Canada, who I was recently coaching. And with him, it was a lot of sales tactics, sales skills that helped him negotiate better and get more listings and more buyers under contract. As I was going through this process, I realized, okay, there's 6 things that as a realtor or a salesperson, if you can get behind these things, this will help you grow. I'm going to build a platform on these principles. I'm going to build a coaching program on these principles, a brokerage team at Real on these principles. And we're going to use these to leverage people's speed of growth so that they can put more money in their bank account. So for the next 5 to 10 minutes, I want you to take quick notes on these principles so that you can go apply them. And as you watch my YouTube channel, as you follow me on Instagram, you're going to see these principles repeated over and over and over again so that you can get really good at them and go put more money in your bank account. Now, before we jump into these principles, real quick, you've been following me for a long time. The fastest way to accelerate your business is to keep your education ahead of your paycheck. You have to be constantly growing. Success leaves clues. And so why not go find them, save time on the learning curve so that you can grow and go faster? Because realtors and salespeople, your biggest enemy is time. If you don't go fast enough, then you're going to burn out or you're going to run out of money and you're going to be out of this industry. So we prioritize our education. Moving forward, we're still going to have a book club. Last month, if you were following along, we read 3 Feet from Gold. It was an incredible principle that too often we stop just too early. And so if you can get really good at understanding stories of people that didn't quit, that kept going, then it'll motivate you and give you the inspiration to do so as well. This quarter, we're going to transition from mindset and foundation. We're going to transition to leadership. Consumers want to work with people they can trust, that are competent, and that they know will get the job done. That's an overall description of leadership. There's nobody better that I can introduce you to on leadership than John C. Maxwell. John Maxwell has written countless books and has been the leadership leader in the leadership space for the last 1,000 years. And he's one of the go-to philosophers and trainers on this principle. So this month, this quarter, we're going to focus on leadership. And the first book we're going to read is The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. This is an incredible book. Go get this and follow along this month. Reach out if you have any questions, but go all in on John Maxwell this month. Watch his YouTube clips, buy his courses, watch his webinars, buy his books, and go all in on this idea of leadership. And you'll watch that naturally people in your market are going to want to work with you because you're a leader. You're someone that they can get behind, that inspires them, motivates them, and that solves their problem. Because remember, your consumers have a problem. They have pain right here. They have a dream outcome over here. They want to work with the realtor that will merge the two, that will get them from here to over here. You do that through leadership skills. So make sure you're following along. Okay, now let's dive into those 6 principles. Grab your notes. These are the 6 principles that we're going to focus on and drive home in Davis Sales Training that you're going to see moving forward. And if you jump into our coaching program or you jump on our team or you follow here for the free content on YouTube or on my Instagram, or you reach out for any of the packets moving forward, this is the stuff that we're going to focus on. There's 6 of them. So grab your notes. The first one is peak state performance. It is the ability to get in the flow state. A lot of you have probably realized this, that when you're feeling it, when you have like all of like the momentum, you're happy, you're excited, you're focused, you're driven, nothing can really distract you. You've probably felt that a couple times in your life. And to be honest, if you go to the grocery store, like a lot of the people have energy or they don't have energy. Or you go to the car dealership or go to the store, or even friends, family, people that you associate with, everyone gives off a certain energy. If you can create more energy, then you can transfer it, because sales is a transfer of energy. And a lot of you that watch this don't have a real estate problem. You don't have a sales problem. You've read the books, you have the skills, but you have a personal problem that's blocking your sales ability. That's the inner demons. That's your mindset. That's your physical energy. It's your emotional energy. So learning how to get in that peak state, that flow state, and then maintain it just like athletes do, that's how you'll go and put more money in your bank account. That's why on my Instagram and here on YouTube, I highlight athletes all the time. They always talk about how the actual game, they're not having to focus or worry as much because they did that in practice. Now when they show up, their body and their mind and their muscles are just responding to the practice that they've put in. So the number one principle we're going to focus on moving forward is how to get in that peak state and then maintain it over time. The second one is we're going to be values driven. Too often in sales, we focus on money, production. We focus on accolades, awards. We focus on performance, and we forget the things that matter most. We forget our family, our friends. We lose ourselves. We don't give back to the community. We don't have a sense of joy. There's a great book that we read recently in our book club, and it was Clayton M. Christensen's How Will You Measure Your Life? And he talked about how when he went back to a Harvard reunion, there were a lot of these people that came back and they were in trouble with the law. They were bankrupt, divorced, had all these issues in society. And he was so perplexed at how they could lose themselves. And it's because they weren't values driven. It's very hard for ourselves to outperform the identity that we have for ourselves. If you see yourself here, it's very hard to perform with this type of work ethic and this type of mindset. So a lot of the times we focus on the work hard, but we don't see ourselves like that. So fix this and the work ethic will match it. A great quote from Casey Baugh, a mentor of mine. A lot of you guys have heard me say this, but Casey Baugh was the first one that really introduced this to me. He really talks about how you have got to get good at increasing the identity that you have for yourself in order to go perform well. So he says that the biggest driver to performance and behavior is our personal view of our identity, who we think we are. It's very hard for us to act in contrast to the identity we give ourselves. And again, that is so true. So learn to create the energy in your life. Learn to align your life then with your values so that you feel the fulfillment, that your love tank, that your energy is completely full. And then you can rock and roll, move forward. Once you do that, now we get to the third thing, is a lot of us are operating our business as if we're driving a Ferrari, but we have the brake on. There's a lot of things we're doing that are slowing our business down. So you need systems in place. You can't manage your emotions in sales or real estate. You have to manage your systems. Your systems allow you to maintain that growth, that speed, and the momentum moving forward. It's just like a rocket when it takes off from the ground. It spends about 95% of its energy in the fuel to get off the ground. And then as it's in the air, it lets go of certain pieces. It gets more efficient. It gets rid of the parts it doesn't need so that it can go into space. Realtors, salespeople, you got to do the same thing. You got to get rid of the things that are slowing you down. Act like a CEO. We talk about this all the time. Act like a CEO. Stop showing homes. Stop writing contracts. Stop doing things that secretaries would do. Let that go so that you can move faster and buy back your time like Dan Martell always talks about. That's the third thing. So get really good at your systems. The fourth one is get good at prospecting. There's two ways that you can close more deals. And we're going to talk a lot about this in Davis sales training moving forward. You can get a lot more volume. You can get in front of 1,000 people and pitch your product, or you can get better. Steph Curry can shoot 1,000 shots, or he can just get better, or he can do both and he'll make more of the shots that he takes. So a lot of sales trainers are going to tell you, well, just go grind more, get 400 contacts, 500 contacts. You just need to work. Well, why don't you just get better? You only have to talk to 10 people and you can close the deals that you need versus 1,000, or do both. And that's how you really blow up your business. One thing that's helped me over the last 15 years is to do both. Get in front of a lot of people, work a lot of hours, but also read the books and sharpen my skill set. So we're going to train really heavy on presentation skills, communication skills, likability, trust, people skills, personality skills, so that you can then close more people that you talk with. And you don't have to talk with much. Because again, if you don't have to do that, you can buy back your time, like Dan Martell talks about. And if family, kids, community is important to you, you now have more time to give back to your community. The fifth principle is feedback loops. If you've watched my channel for a long time, you know that this is something I harp on all the time. You've got to have a morning routine, nightly routine, and a weekly planning session. Why? Because Fortune 500 companies pay a lot of money to outside counsel to come into their business and give them outside counsel, an outside third-party perspective, non-biased, on things that they could improve on and get better at. And because we are 1099 independent contractors, because we are CEOs of our business, you have to have these frequent audits to make sure you're not making the same mistakes over and over again. Because if you make a mistake, hello, we're human, we all make mistakes. But James Clear in his book, Atomic Habits, talks about how if you make it a second time, 2 days in a row, well, that's a choice. And now you're on a slippery slope of making habits that are going to be really hard to break down the road. So stop. So the fifth principle is having more feedback loops in your life and in your business. And the last one is speed. Speed. You guys have heard me talk about this before, and this is why it's the last principle, because once you get all this in order, now you got to go fast. Alex Ramosi talks about how you can pay with two things. You can pay with money, get the courses, get the mentors, buy the books. You pay with money so you go faster. You get all the clues that success leaves from all the industry experts, and so now you can go faster. Or you're going to pay with time because you didn't do that, and now the learning curve is going to take forever. Well, why not get out of that learning curve as quick as you can? Go faster, pull more all-nighters, spend more time reading the books, pay the money, go get the mentors, get the coaches so you can shave off all that waste so you can go quicker. So I'm super excited moving forward to focus on these 6 things. Focus on peak state, values-driven, being systems-focused, prospecting better, feedback loops, and having more speed. As we do this, I promise you that more of you will succeed because we're covering it as a whole. If you can increase your value to the marketplace will pay you back in accordance to the value that you've increased it to. If you don't have a lot of money in your bank account, it's because you don't have a lot of value to the marketplace. If you can get really good at these 6 things moving forward, and that's why we're going to focus on them, then you'll have more money in your account, which means that you can now go give back to the community, you can take care of your family, and you can do the things that really fill your bucket. And to me, that's the most important thing. If I can give anything to you that watches this and those as we move forward, it's really just to fill yourself with excitement and purpose. Because someone that is purpose-driven, that has fire inside of them, that person is probably the most dangerous in the room, because no matter what is in front of them, they're going to go right through that wall to accomplish the thing that they've set out to accomplish. So, huge announcement. Excited for this channel to move forward. Excited for everything that we've got coming. If you guys have any questions, reach out, 702-525-5766. And then comment in the comments of these 6 things, which do you think is the most important? And as we move forward, you'll see all sorts of books come out, freemiums, packets, courses around these 6 things. So we'll catch you next week. Super excited to go over that topic. Again, reach out if you have any questions. Thanks for tuning into this one.